guys, before we even get into it, I have to tell you that before the show, I was texting Allie these random screenshots. When you go through it's your screenshots and your text attachment, okay? When you do yourself a favor and go take like 30 minutes out of your day and do it, and you will be in tears laughing. They are like a time capsule. This is why I don't do automatic deletion. It's like a time capsule.
You've always been very good at collecting memories along the way when we're in moments. You're like, wait, I got to take notes on this. There are two movies in particular, though, that get Fold and I really, really riled up. And one of them is Anaconda. It's the old one. So we got to get into our topics. But the thing is we have like a weird thing about bad breath.
Which we're going to do a show on. We're going to do a show on because a lot of celebrities have bad breath, and we need to talk about which ones they are because it's very obvious in their facial expressions. It's very obvious how they talk that they have bad breath, okay? And Allie and I have been talking about this for years, okay? And I think you guys will agree, and we can even have a vote on our social media if you think these people have bad breath because it's obvious. But maybe you don't agree.
It's sometimes like the most like Mark Ruffalo in 13 Going on 30 has the worst breath you could ever imagine. Yeah,
but
it's
not
so bad.
In Spotlight. It depends on the scene.
Oh no, yeah, it depends. Yeah.
In Spotlight, he's always chewing gum. Like I feel like his breath is very fresh. But in 13 Going on 30, especially after he has those razzles, like he has bad breath. It's bad. It's really bad. So.
Wait, and listen, Jon Voight when he's strangled by
Jon Voight. So Jon Voight in Anaconda. I don't know, you guys. Anaconda is like this old '90s movie with J-Lo. Okay, J-Lo's in it. Like peak.
There's a new one coming out. There's a new one coming out. Yes.
We'll talk about that actually
with Jack Black.
Oh my! Well, I'm probably gonna see it.
I know we're definitely gonna see it.
This is like peak J-Lo, like 90s. Jenny from the Block. Yeah, Jenny from the Block, J-Lo, and like Jon Voight, who's like, of course, does Jon Voight ever play someone not sinister?
And wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr. in it too? Oh, sorry. Not Cuba. Ice Cube.
We were just Ice Cube. Ice Cube. We were talking about Ice Cube last week. Cuba. Right. We won't go too far into that, but there's a scene where by the way, this is way before AI, but the Anaconda in this movie is so just good. So like I actually do think they get this big. I remember looking it up after this movie. Do anacondas really get to be like 15 feet long? And they do, but it looks like so CGI in this movie. This giant anaconda wraps around Jon Voight and his breath is just like radiating. We call it snake breath.
Smell it.
Snake breath. We call it snake breath because of the show. And like you guys, I don't know.
We might as well go through them. Okay, Mark Ruffalo, 13 Going on 30. Jon Voight and Anaconda. Grandma from Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek. The Dawson's Creek grandma might be number one. Okay, like I can like it so bad. Me. The Dawson's Creek grandma.
Did you see her at the reunion? She hasn't changed. Yes. She looks the same.
Yes, and you know what? Like I'm glad we're bringing up Dawson's Creek, and this may not have been a topic, but like
it's definitely not a topic.
But the James Vanderbeek, like about him like selling off his stuff is like breaking my heart. Like him selling off his memorabilia, which just shows that like. Because when you work in Hollywood, if you don't work enough during the year, you don't get your health benefits. I think I learned that at an episode of Friends, by the way. But like he hasn't worked in a long time. When Joey like couldn't get something fixed because he hasn't worked enough. But he's probably paying. I mean, I can't believe what his cost must be for this treatment. It's so heartbreaking. He's got 7 kids, got a ton of kids, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time they show him, he doesn't look good. He looks really thin and
skinny. I know. I think the last thing I watched was him on The View or something, and it was like very heartbreaking.
He's canceled a lot of appearances. But people are getting. I was just talking about this in a workout class today. Colon cancer is getting to hit younger and younger people. It's actually nuts. I'm picking up our friend Andy, from a colonoscopy tomorrow, and I was just reminding myself like it's really important to do those things. I mean, it happens a lot younger.
I think it's what a lot of people are blaming that on now. Toilet paper that we use.
Oh, stop! Really? I haven't heard that.
I just saw some video on Instagram of. I mean, they were trying to sell a product, but still, they were saying like the toxins in toilet paper, and there's a rise in colon cancer. So now I want to see what the link is there because I'm
really?
Or have we just been poisoning our buttholes like for the past?
I haven't heard that one, but
years?
That does not really surprise me in a sense. I don't. Who knows? We're putting up there.
I know. Okay. Well.
Okay. Anyway, back to the show.
Yes. Yes. So obviously, we want to talk about what's going on, what happened, unfortunately, the devastating situation of Rob Reiner. I think we should focus on not like what we're learning in the moment, but more so like what the fuck is going on.
I'm very curious. People keep talking about this like fight he got in with Bill Hader at the Conan O'Brien holiday party. Not saying that's what caused it, but like he was very unstable that night.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
what
know.
I read was that Bill Hader was just having a conversation with someone, and that the son Nick was going up to all these different people at the party and just asking if they were famous and just being really weird and intrusive. And so Bill Hader very politely said, "I'm having a private conversation," and that seemed to have pissed him off. And then Rob and Nick apparently got into like a little bit of a heated fight. But what I was gonna say is,
Rob,
um,
Rob, his dad. Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, he got into a heated fight with his father, and then they left early, and he apologized to Conan. So I don't know how much you read up, because I was very curious to more so understand the dynamics and like how his son ended up like this versus him doing it, because
Oh
obviously
yeah.
he's a very sick person to have done this. I mean, it really truly seemed like he had wonderful parents, and it sometimes I read somewhere yesterday that his father almost feels ashamed for following so many therapists um guidance, in terms of like they kept saying leave him in rehab when the son was begging to come home, and they were like leave him there, and just other things that were going on that they just turned a blind eye to, because people with credentials and masters and all
Yeah,
these
like an
different things on
actual
their walls,
professional
right,
in
like a
the field.
professional person, and they feel like I should have listened to my kid, I should have listened to my kid. But what this seems to me like, and this is something we don't think about often with celebrities or with very famous people, public figures, we always think, gosh, how lucky, like they get to grow up with all this money, all this wealth, all this access. This is a tale of it having the opposite effect, where it almost dooms you into feeling like a failure, and like you can't ever be good enough because you're just constantly compared to the best of the best. And Rob Reiner was incredible.
See, this is an interesting debate. I think that's more common than I think growing up without a lot of money and the hardships and things like that. Like, yes, there's always a lot of empathy for that. Like, oh, he grew up from nothing. But when you are the product of a very successful, very, not just success and wealth. I mean, Rob Reiner, like you said, is iconic in the film industry. It could be that your parents like that, your parents are a great athlete, whatever it is, on a major level or a minor level. I've seen it happen on like with like friends like who have like a dad who is just like, successful in like a small field or a big field. It messes with you if you can't live up to that. It's one of the hardest things. And people, and that's why I thought was so interesting about Ina Garten's book. She's like, people didn't think I had problems. I grew up in this like wealthy family. Her dad was extremely awful and abusive. It's just these people don't get the same level of empathy because, like, yeah, you have it made. Rob Reiner's your dad. Like, what's wrong with your?
But in this scenario, what is why I am like not even wanting to compare it to any of these other stories is because it truly does seem like they were wonderful parents, and that Rob, because his father was so famous, Carl, he grew up, he always wanted to rise to like his father. He wanted to be like as good as his father. And in this scenario, it sounds like his son, it like broke him mentally and caused him to go into drug addiction very early at 15, which is just like,
Yes,
why?
and no, I'm not comparing. I agree with you. What I'm trying to make the point as is growing up in privilege does not mean what people like. There's a lot of like misconception here,
Fair.
like a
Yeah.
lot of misconception with growing up in privilege, where like you could have no money to your name and have like
Right.
completely good upbringing. But the way this situation is completely unique is he
Yeah.
had privilege and he had an emotional, present, supportive parents. Now, those two things are usually not linked. Like the divide there is like how we talked about Taylor Swift. Like she obviously had very grounded parents. She has somehow stayed
Right.
together. And it seems like he had this too. So the only like you're saying that he succumbed to some sort of pressure or some sort of thing he had, like couldn't live up to and he had to kind of numb himself to it. I don't know that much about him. I mean, I've read more recently, but man, it sounds like it's been a struggle forever and ever with him.
I wish we could almost go into his brain at 15 when he started drugs, because obviously it's the same story with Britney Spears, right? Like you do so many drugs, your brain starts being affected and you're no longer a normal person. You are mentally ill. You can't just get off the drugs and be normal. This guy got so affected by the drugs over the years. That's the only thing I can think of here. Because other
Yeah.
than that, he had this story. He was living in his parents' guest house. They loved him. His dad co-wrote and directed a movie with him, all about his son's life, and
I
like
know.
it pushed him to be closer.
It makes
There's
me
no,
so
yeah,
sad to have parents, like I said, like this,
I
that's the big
know,
distinction here.
they're gone.
He really had parents who, I mean, I know you never really know, but like truly caring individuals, it seems like that really wanted to help him. And that's what's so sad here. This was not a case of like, oh, bratty, wealthy kid who just had
Right.
parents who were ambivalent, didn't give a shit about him.
No.
These were parents who were very involved, very much cared, and it just is a super tragic tale.
It's so tragic, and I think the worst feeling of it all is to keep thinking like, oh no, like they're gone. That's
I
it.
can't
And the
believe
way
it.
that I can't believe it either. And the way they went down, I mean, it's so depressing. And it's not to bring up another negative thing, but it's like that the big anti-Semitic Hanukkah massacre that just happened in Australia
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Bondi.
yeah.
I just read that, like, of course, all of the victims there, it's horrific and terrible, and it's not one worse than the other. One of one of the victims that got slain in 2025 at a Hanukkah party was a fucking Holocaust survivor.
I didn't read that. Oh my God, there's not that many of those still even alive.
Correct. And to think that you made it out of the most horrific act of, violence and
Against
terrorism in
Jewish
your
people, yeah.
correct. And to live all this time and then to be celebrating your
I can't
heritage.
believe, yeah, that just shouldn't, no. I mean, like, yeah, that's like sickening that you live through something like that and then you died through
Sickening.
a terrorist attack again, or again, you're in something like that.
And then, all the conversations about gun laws are back, right? Because Australia has such strict gun laws. I mean, it takes years to get approved. But here was the crazy thing about the two. It was a father and son duo, and the father's dead. The son's in the hospital in critical care. The father and son had already been questioned by police previously for a connection with terrorism. And the father was still approved of a gun years later.
Yeah.
And they let them go. I guess they didn't find them harmful, which is a little weird. It's like, what was their connection with? I want to know more about that now because I'm like, that seemed like that could have been prevented. And if you go back to the Rob Reiner stuff, it's easy to say something, it's your son, right? Like you want to help him. But I do think they probably like really struggled with like either being too harsh and like trying to put him in rehab so many times versus come live with us. We love you so much. Like, not harsh enough. And it seems like maybe they were stuck in a place there where they were probably letting him in too much and not cutting him off enough. And his sickness
I
ultimately
can't
took over.
imagine
I mean,
how hard that would be. Like walking that line all the time's got to be
right?
so hard. Like even what you just said earlier, like your son or your child's begging to get out of rehab, and you want to listen to your child, right? And you're like, this is professional, even know this is the right thing. But then that's why it's scary. We have to lean on the professionals and trust that they know the right thing. But then like there's been
They don't
cases where
always.
that's what I'm saying. There's been cases where that they
Yeah.
don't always, and that's backfired. So like, do you trust your gut and your intuition, or do you
I'm
listen?
I'm I'm tired of like always treating medical professionals as if they're God.
Oh
Like they know
yeah.
everything, right?
How many times have I feel like during my pregnancies, I had to follow up with them on stuff. Like you really have to and like that's upsetting. Like I agree with you. Like you have to check in with them. They're human error. They don't know everything. It's not an exact medicine's not an exact science. So it's just one of those things you kind of have to, yes, lean towards the professionals. Like you don't know more than the teacher, but
Yeah.
advocate for yourself and for your child. You have to kind of know a little bit about what works for you. Everyone's different.
I mean, the fact that he brought him to Conan O'Brien's party, he wasn't even invited. He showed up in a hoodie. There was a dress code. They still let him in. Like this just goes to show you, like, as parents, they were doing whatever they could to keep this son as a unit with them,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
they didn't have to bring him to Conan O'Brien's holiday
Oh,
party. And by the
no.
way, I just read too that they were supposed to have like dinner plans with like Michelle and
Oh,
Barack
I
like this
saw
week.
that.
You saw that? It's just
Michelle was interviewed on a show and said that they were supposed to have plans. Yeah.
there's like so many connections. The Bill Hader thing to me, Bill Hader must feel I can't even imagine to know that you were one of the last people that spoke to this
Yeah,
ill
that's
person
gotta
and
mess you
obviously
up.
it wasn't right and it wasn't a good exchange. And
No.
then to think like, did my words potentially
And even though
put
you
him
know
over the
you're
edge?
and even though you know at your core and you're rational that like
It's
no,
not
you
your
don't,
fault. Yeah.
it's not your fault. You can't cause anyone to do something like that. It can't help but mess with you. If you're like kind of like of course it does. I'm sure that affects him or anyone who'd be in that position.
It is very, very, very sad. And if Conan was apparently having this party to like, it was like let's forget about the terrible year we've just had because this has been a horrific year. I mean, there's
Yeah.
been just so many terrible things that have happened. So imagine having that party and then the next day you find out two of your closest friends
So
have
it
been
was
murdered by
that
the son
night.
that it must have happened that late that night, early that morning. I don't think they've assigned a time yet. By the time this comes out, they probably will, but it was somewhere within those 24 hours. So you could say it was the
Yeah,
night
so
before.
basically, yeah, that's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Golly.
Sick, 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 sick. I believe the Brown University shooter is still on the run. You've got the guy in jail right now for Charlie Kirk, who's sitting trial. You've got I mean, you've got Luigi Mangione for United Healthcare. I mean, what is going on?
Yeah.
The fuck is going on?
It's all the
This
time.
is crazy. It's so bad. And there haven't been this bad of a shooting in Australia in 3 decades, because when they had a mass shooting a few decades ago, they instituted much stricter gun laws, apparently, because they fucking go right at it. They're not like America, right? They're not like,
Yeah,
and there was no argument of like, well, had people had guns at that party, they could have protected themselves. Fuck that. These guys came prepared, okay? That is what it is. 2 men came prepared and went crazy and shot and
but
murdered.
like the American gun crazy people are gonna be like, see, you can have gun law, like, as you know,
Right.
they're always trying to like
Sick.
make sure gun laws that happen. But what you just point out is the statistic they should focus on is this is the first thing they've had like that in decades. Whereas here, it's like every other day. So
Every other day.
give me those gun laws all day long. I think Australia is still doing it right with the stricter laws.
And how you can live in a country right now, I don't care who's supporting Trump and who's not. This is not a conversation of whether or not you support him. The message he wrote, and then the double downing of standing by what he said about not liking Rob Reiner, and like, I don't know if you saw any of that. That was
course I
so
did. It was
sick.
gross. People have come out. Jack White's statement about him was so
I
hilarious.
saw that. Oh,
Jack,
I know.
but it was so true. But like we talked about this before. To me, there's nothing he's going to be able to do to like. I mean, he gets grosser and just more terrible with every statement. But do people actually shift their views on him? The people who are in his corner. I don't think so.
I know. Like, knowing anyone that is a supporter of him right now, like, okay, James Woods, remember him, the actor James Woods?
Yes.
He supposedly had a very tough time getting some jobs in Hollywood, and he's a big Trump supporter, and he even came out to say like what he said was wrong, because apparently Rob Reiner, yes, because apparently Rob Reiner really helped him get on his feet with some acting gigs. But I don't know how long ago this was, so he feels like a special connection. And obviously, they both have very different political views. If James Woods is such a Trumper, and we know that Rob Reiner was a staunch, Democrat. I mean, that's why Trump hates him so much, or hated him so much, because it's past tense, which is horrific.
The hypocrisy is that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated,
Medal of Honor.
Everyone spoke even just one teeny tiny negative word about him. Like Trump was just like, how could you speak of someone who just shot dead like this? Meanwhile, Rob Reiner is murdered by his own son, and he just says awful things about him. It's nonstop like that. If it applies to me, it doesn't apply. It's like just insane.
And his argument against that would be that it wasn't politically motivated, and that right. So then that's why you can get fired from your job because you X tweeted whatever.
Nothing makes you feel Charlie crazier in like your personal life or in the world around you than the blatant double standards like that, and like gaslit feelings like that, where you're just like, this applies to everyone but you. Just like, who cares?
You just have to enjoy every day, and just because we don't know what's happening. And then speaking of robots, which was of course another topic for today.
Is this becoming an AI pod? I mean,
an AI pod. I live in an AI pod.
A-pod.
Well, the only thing I was going to bring up is that the war again. Well, there's like a whole thing with China right now that they're moving like 5 times or 10 times as fast as we are in all this production of robots and AI driven products. However, what I find most interesting is now there's this huge leaning and push toward making all these robots look like humans. So forget little Roombas and things moving around like claws and whatever. They want to make these things look like us, which is almost even more terrifying. It's like we continue to kill our own species by creating.
We're just adding to the endangered species and adding to the extinction of our.
What are we doing?
It's like we don't want to exist anymore. Why are we trying to?
I really don't think we do.
Ourselves? Why are we trying to replace ourselves and our jobs?
And then the other thing I was going to bring up with AI and how it's something that we all really need to pay more attention is the dynamic pricing versus price gouging. So there was just like a big investigation into this. I believe even the FTC. Let me read this. Okay, so all these companies right now are boasting about using AI tools because they're going to be like jacking up their revenue over the next years. Instacart's one of them. Delta's one of them, and we can talk about how Uber does this. So they did something where they had like 20 different people in different states go on to Instacart to purchase the same items, and everybody had different prices. And it was all based on their price behavior, or their online behavior and their price history. And one of the things that a lot of these companies is saying is that no matter what, our tools are designed, our AI tools are designed to always give you the most optimum, cheapest price. Like that's what our goal is. And when they did this test, 7% of the people got the lowest price. All the others had any range
That's
from
bullshit.
30 cents first
They're
bullshit.
using it to manipulate us into paying
Correct.
top dollar, of course.
And someone was saying too that they went on to purchase a flight and they went on 10 minutes later and their price had increased by $100 for their flight.
Yeah. I'm reading
So
a
now
lot
this,
about the flight
right?
price stuff. Yes.
It's really crazy. And then to just go on top of it, like Black Friday just happened a little bit ago and all these deals and holidays, and we're all just feeling like we have to run to the stores or run online and we can't miss the deals and the extended Black Friday sales and all these things. Fuck this. Fuck all the sales. They don't mean anything. They're just jacking the prices up. I mean, literally every time I go into a store, I look it up on Amazon, it's cheaper. But then on Amazon, it's jacked up. And then it's like, oh, discounted today, 13%.
And they
What are
really
we
just
going to do?
inflate it,
They
and then they
inflate
use
it.
that discount to mentally think you're getting a discount when you're not. And I think the Black Friday stuff, and I'll admit, I rushed to some of them, and I think a lot of people panicked rushed to some of them because things have gotten so much more expensive
Correct.
that
Yes.
there was like an extra level of urgency. To me, I'm like, oh my God, I better buy this sofa now or this TV now because the imports and the tariffs are so expensive that there was like this even more panic to it this year. But again, the AI is, you're right. They're inflating the prices, saying 50% off, but really it's 50% off of an already 30% inflated price. So you do the math, you're not even really saving money. It's really just so awful.
And this is purely a tool that just it's algorithmic. It just
Yeah. Oh, it's all
but
algorithmic.
but set to make the company more money.
Yeah.
So we're just like sitting here
We're
like fucking
pawns. We're pawns in it.
dumbass ducks, correct,
Yeah.
pawns.
Yeah.
I moved into a new house during Black Friday. I was eating up all the sales. I don't think I
Of
got one
course.
sale. I think I got ripped off on everything.
I mean, we think we did, and that's like they're just
Yeah.
laughing all the way. We didn't probably. You're right.
Anyway, but also speaking before about you know, just in general, like how you can be here one day and gone the next, and you know, there's just so many terrifying things
It's
happening.
really feeling like that.
I just wanted to celebrate that Dick Van Dyke just celebrated his 100th birthday.
I know. You know what? We've been on a big Mary Poppins was like my favorite childhood movie,
We
and
watched it because of you now, yeah.
I loved it. It's really one of my all-time favorites, and my
It's
kids love
long.
it. It's so good though. Like it
It
doesn't
is
even
good.
feel long to
So
me. It's just like,
long.
and my kids love it. So like I love that they love a movie I like too that we can watch together, and they love Mary Poppins and Dick Van Dyke. Like what a
He's so sweet in
special
it. I know.
special like career and special person he is. I mean, truly.
Well, what a gift to turn 100 and still be alive. And this was
And with it,
unbelievable. And with it, but you know what I love? You know when you always meet older people, you're always like, oh, it's either like the question is either, oh, they've been married for
oh,
50 years. Oh, you're like, oh, how have you kept a healthy marriage? Or if you've been alive for 100 years, what's kept you alive for so long? What's the magic trick, right? That's what everyone always
I have never asked an old person what's kept them alive for so long. I just want everyone to know that's a fucked up question.
Well, my grandfather lived to be 104, I
You
believe.
have
And
very old
yeah,
grandparents.
grandfather always used to say, like, laughter is the key, which is great. I love that. I mean, I think that's why you and I have always
I think
loved being
laughing
around
is
each
big.
other.
Yes, yes.
But I thought what Dick said that good old Dicky Doo, he said that he could never work himself up to hate, and that hate eats away at you, and he just never hates. He never gets angry like that.
I
And
kind
he
of
thinks that,
see that.
isn't that
Don't,
crazy?
doesn't he just look like someone who like can't get mad? But you know what?
Yes.
That is, I mean, nothing, I'm gonna be honest with you, nothing I'll ever be able to accomplish because oh my God, I think
I was thinking about my own behavior and I'm like, what?
just this
Stop
morning
hating things.
getting my
Yeah,
kids out to
sorry.
school, I like think I threw one of them on the bed. I'm like, just get out of here. Like I've hate like hates in there.
It's like
But I
oozing
think that
out of you,
it is, but I think that he is 100% right. I think that
right?
yes, and like I hate to go back to like the let them think, but it's kind of like that. Like if you keep your own kind of feeling, it's like the line you walk between keeping your own calmness at bay and not being checked out. But like if you don't let yourself get, because the things we get really worked up about are things we can't control. That's why we're worked up. That's really what it is. Like stuff that's out of our control that we're so angry about, whether it's managing someone's emotions or you can't believe how this happened. But all that does is wear you out, wears you out physically and emotionally. I think he's entirely right. Now that I think about it, I think about Dick Van Dyke's energy and what you've seen him in. I can't even imagine him like raising his voice.
I know.
Like and like that's why he's lived forever. 100. His cortisol levels don't spike. He doesn't have that stress. You know, my husband's telling me all the time, like you know, and I get mad when he says this, but he's just like, you stressing yourself out. Just
we're killing ourselves.
Like you're hurting yourself. And
well, I'm hoping that this is a wake up call for us and for anyone out there listening that feels like they're raging a lot and feeling stressed. We need to rethink our approach to life.
Dick Van Dyke. Be Dick Van Dyke. He's just had this pleasant little life. I mean, like, and maybe it's because he's just never let himself. I love that. I don't let myself hate. I don't let myself get to that threshold.
He says he's just, and it's almost like it's like how he is, which he's kind of lucky. Like you and I just, I guess, weren't born with that gene where we like it's hard for us to hate. I'm so up and down too.
And that's just who I am. I don't think I don't know. I can try and regulate it, but I spike. I go down. I spike.
And I do too. And I think sometimes it can be due to all sorts of factors, right? But I do think that, and I've read this somewhere before, or maybe through therapy, is that there's something in our bodies that it feels more comfortable and easier to be in a space of hate than love. It's easier to want to complain. It's just something, the way our chemicals go together and the way our brains are wired. It's harder to be grateful. It's harder to.
It is harder.
Overlook mistakes and not hold grudges and all these different things. But now that I think of it, my grandfather, I never saw him yell or get angry.
There you go.
So there you go. Right. There really might be. I mean, I'm sure he did, but just even in his older age, when I knew him, I'll have to ask my dad more about that. And my dad is one.
Your dad your dad's a perfect example. From your childhood, did your dad ever get like super worked up?
Only when technology was broken.
Well,
that was a big problem.
How's he gonna make his dog memes if he can't, you know?
If you broke a remote control, like you're in trouble.
It was kind of like my dad. Like he did. It took a lot to set him off. He was a very
correct.
Very even-keeled person. Very it took a lot.
Now that's not to say I did not grow up in a yelling family. There were other yellers in the family, but my dad was not one of the big yellers for sure.
Me neither. It was my mom.
Yeah.
It was not my dad.
Yeah, it was my mom too. And it is funny because like even thinking about it, you really shouldn't yell a lot because when you do yell a lot, you're not taken seriously. And I will say that because when my dad yelled or got angry, that's when I like
100%, because it was so seldom that when he did do it, I was like, holy shit, you're right. Like now probably no one takes me seriously if I like lose my cool. Like that's kind of how like if I looking back, that's kind of how my mom was. She would kind of like blow her gasket and I just knew it'd be so like over in a few minutes and then she'd be fine. I stopped taking it seriously. She would get really upset. She never held a grudge. And then she'd be like, okay, are we good now? Sorry about that, mommy. Let's go. Like, and then we just move on. But like, I'm not sure maybe that wasn't as healthy as it could have, because like, I think I do that too. I get like really upset. I don't just ignore it. Like I do, especially with my kids. I want to be like, hey, you know what? Mommy shouldn't have gotten upset like that. I don't want them to think that like, I really want to like instill that in them that like, cause I want yelling around them really affects them. Like Emmy's at the age now, especially like, I think it like gives her a stomach ache. Like it's really important not to regulate it. And you and I have read books about that parenting is really just dealing with your own shit. It's really just dealing with your own trauma and parenting yourself. That's what being a parent is. So it's really interesting about the yelling. But I think what Dick Van Dyke and your dad and my dad, I mean, and even what Mel Robbins has been preaching, like, try to let the stuff that angers you deep down that you can't do anything about. If you let that go, you're going to be happier with yourself, happier in your partnerships, happy in your relationships.
This is also healthier. Like, I feel like the ages of like 2 to 7 with kids is also like a prime window of when a lot of people get divorced. For instance, Amy
Schumer.
Amy Schumer's getting divorced, and I think her son is probably
7 years,
like 4,
7 years,
right?
7 year itch. They're 7 years in. I think
it's a 7 year itch, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the 7-year itch, but it's funny you say that because I just had my 7-year anniversary and I got so many
Maybe
messages
it
about
wasn't. It doesn't feel like they've been married for 7 years already. Maybe it was only like
how
4.
long
I think
are
it's like 4 years.
Amy Schumer.
But was it something with him being autistic? Did I read something about that? Did you read that?
He is autistic, but I don't know what the
Something with
divorce had to do with. They've been married
I
for
just
7 years. That's
it was the
hysterical.
7-year itch. Okay,
Oh
I
my
thought so.
God.
It doesn't seem like it's been
Yeah.
that long, but yeah. Well,
Um,
she, people were saying, like, oh, people are going nuts about her weight loss and her posting all these skinny pics of herself. And they think that's why she's getting divorced. I'm like, I don't think that's why either.
that's so, and she made a comment about that too, like, fuck off, you people. Like, that's so
Yeah,
obnoxious to make that comment
it
about
is
me.
obnoxious. And I'm not saying I'm not like the biggest Amy fan. Like I'm like this on her. So like I'm just like sometimes I don't love her. I don't know why.
Wait, Amy Schumer confirmed. Hold on, what she found. Her
Whoa.
reasons, okay, it says, while the announcement was brief and laced with humor, the reasons behind it run deeper. Personal change, career focus, and growing distance ultimately reshaped their relationship.
What I
Could have to
read
do
that
with her newfound, yeah.
what I read and like this kind of makes sense just with couples in general. Like this resonated because I think this is a common thing whether you're a celebrity or not. She had her kid during like, and it's true, during like kind of the peak of her career when she was doing like
Yes.
Trainwreck and all of that stuff. She was like
No,
a
she was,
huge
everyone was talking about her. And
she
side
was a
note, she
huge
had a
deal.
terrible pregnancy, I remember, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't she
terrible
sick like
pregnancy.
constantly? Yeah.
Yes, but she was at the peak of her career. She got married, had this kid, and I read there was some resentment around that, which is a very common tale of why women get divorced. Like it's not even anyone's fault, but they have resentment even towards their children, towards their husband. They're now doing so
Right.
much more. The mental load. We talk about this all the time. So like her reasons for
Yep.
divorce almost seem like a tale as old as time to me that goes on with women all the time. And she might have resentment for kind of not saying her career took a nosedive, but she was at the top and then she took a huge step back.
Isn't he like a James Beard award
He's
winning
a chef.
chef?
Yeah, he's a
Right.
chef.
He's has autism spectrum disorder, previously known as Asperger's, ASD.
But to me, it just seems like a very common. They got married. She kind of put her career in the back burner, motherhood,
Yeah.
resentment. It just, I don't know. It's 7-year itch is a real thing. And I'm not saying it's celebrity marriage is 7 years is kind of long.
And for someone who is married to someone not famous and she's constantly in the limelight and says such a
Yeah.
darling on like TV and everything and
Mm-hmm.
movies.
Mm-hmm. You have a kid, you kind of put your career in the back burner, you're feeling burnt out, you don't like, you're resentful towards your husband. It's
Yeah,
very, very common to be in this place after a few years where you're like, I don't want this,
I
you
agree.
know?
All right. Well, I did want to make a correction on our last episode. We said that Fran Drescher is the current president of SAG, but actually she just got replaced by Sean Astin, which I thought was very interesting. Remember Sean Astin?
No, I have no idea who that is.
Sean Astin from The Goonies, also from the Lord of the Rings franchise.
Oh,
Also you don't remember this guy?
I
Here.
have to look at his picture. Shh. Oh yeah, yes, Frodo.
Remember he plays yes.
He's
And also
Frodo.
The Goonies, he plays
Yeah,
what's
Goonies.
the cute little kid. But anyway, I guess Fran Drescher's no longer a part of it, but I still really love that
Is
quote
it like a
she gave.
presidential term after a while you just replace? Is it like a year or something?
It's a 2-year term.
Okay, yeah. So then
And it
then
says here, it says here that he's focused on member engagement, health, and navigating AI in the industry.
So SAG members, I presume they vote for who the new president is. I don't really know how that works, but I just
Yes, I would think so. And also, how could we forget he was Rudy in the movie?
Oh, Rudy.
Remember
Man, I
Rudy?
forgot about Rudy.
I know.
Who doesn't love an underdog story?
Who doesn't
An
love an
underdog
underdog?
sports story, especially. Yeah, Rudy.
Totally. And then I don't know why no one's talking about this, but okay, so I took Shauna to see the Nutcracker last weekend,
Oh, nice.
which was super fun. It is a little long for a kid, but it was fun. But I was just like watching the male dancers, and I love a good male dancer. Like, don't get me wrong.
I'm sure you
Like,
do, Fold. I am sure you do.
I think they're just very talented.
You love a Chippendale.
But I don't professional ballet dancer. Thank you very much. What I cannot seem to get over is why the tights need to be so tight to where you can see. It just felt very inappropriate. My daughter was. You see everything, the muscles through the legs, the peni. You see the peni as large or as small as possible. Obviously, they're wearing a cup over it, but like it felt wrong. I don't know. Shauna was watching and she even was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh God," it was really uncomfortable.
Their cup runneth over. Yes. Yeah, no, it's very
Fold. It's
tight.
so tight.
Yeah, it is.
Like, and why is it that
Can't they wear
it's
shorts or something?
like what something? Why does the
Even
penis
boxer,
have to
like some
be
sort of briefs or something. I don't know. I hear what you're saying.
or like balloon pants?
What? That doesn't lend itself to ballet movement. Okay, it has to be tight. Come on.
So what's the solution? Because no one's come up with it. It's just
I don't
why do
think
they have to show
if
their
they haven't come
penis?
up with it by now.
It's so X-rated. It
If they
feels
haven't,
wrong.
you know what? Ballet's been around a long time. If they haven't come up with it now, I wouldn't expect a penile cover up to happen. What's those things called for little babies that they put on? A PPTP.
Oh, it's a PPTP.
A PPTP is what little a
What?
PP, you don't know about this, neither do I, because we have girls. A PPTP is what you put on a little tiny baby's penis when they're on the changing table so they don't squirt up and pee in your face. It's like a little hat on
Oh
your
my God, I'm
pee.
Googling it. I've never heard of this in my life.
Yes. So like we don't know that because when we were changing baby girls, if they pee, it just drips out, right? Because they
I
don't.
am dying because they
Yes.
sell them with like wiener dogs on
No,
them or
almost
like
all. I mean, all baby moms I had, they all have a PPTP because it's a real thing. It shoots up at
wait,
you.
this is crazy
Yes.
because I've been around some friends with boys and I've never seen them use
Never
one of
heard
these
of
when
a
they change them.
PPTP?
No, well, now I have, and I'm
It's
very
pretty
happy
funny.
about it.
Well, maybe the ballet
Oh,
needs PPTPs of some kind.
you know
Like
what, Fold? Put the cup over or the PPTP over the
we
tights,
we
not
could patent
under.
this. We could patent this. I mean,
I guess
just
it's
give
like
them
football, right? But at least they have like
sponsored by Controlled Chaos. PPTPs for the
PPTPs.
ballet. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think Sean is probably that age too, where like she's starting to ask questions about that kind of stuff, right?
That and a lot of death questions all the
Well,
time.
she's your daughter.
She's
She's
asking
how
me when I'm gonna die, when
oh,
she's gonna
okay.
die. Oh,
That's
when's Marcy gonna
scary.
die? And I'm
Well,
honest.
you know
I'm
what?
like, I will die, you will die.
I kind of
Yeah.
remember around her age thinking about that stuff. I don't like
Because what the fuck? You see all these like magical creatures like Santa Claus, and that's the other question. Does Santa Claus die? Does Elf on the Shelf die?
the
Are
other day we were just
hard to
walking.
navigate.
Literally yesterday, I've never heard Emmy, my 3-year-old, mention die. We were walking down to deliver. I made cookies for the neighbors this year. I made cookie boxes this year. I don't know who I
I know.
am.
I saw on your stories,
So
and it was
we,
unbelievable. Martha
I,
Stewarting over there
I know, I can't
with your
believe it.
terramation.
I can't believe I did it. But we walked down and
I can.
he wasn't there and he didn't answer the door. We call it Mr. Bob. And she's like, well, we don't want him to die. And I've never heard her. I was just like, no, we don't want him to die, but he's not going to die. Well, we don't want him to die. It's interesting you're saying this. It's the first time I've ever heard her even say that before, even mention die or death. So now these questions are probably looming. And going back to
Oh
the
yeah.
PPTP, the boys in her class, even though they sit down to pee, they're so small, they don't really do the whole standing up thing.
Yeah.
But she asks a lot of things like that when she comes home now. She goes, Mom, boys stand up to go pee pee and girls sit down, but you both sit down to go poo poo. And I was like, that's true. We're having a big poo poo thing right now. But she's starting to get curious about like, and like even my husband Ryan's mentioned like, hey, when is it like not okay? Like when should I not take showers with them? He's starting to like wonder about that because we started
I
like
just had this talk too. Yeah.
it's like I don't know. They love it, and I don't think there's any issues with
Yeah.
it right now. I mean, like they'll take a shower with him like every other night, pretty much. Like it's
I told Mitch, I think around when Shauna turned 4, I started feeling like it got a little weird. I don't know why, because of the questions she was asking. She was
yeah,
laughing more at the penis.
yeah.
So
I'm
all the time.
Sure Mitch
Yeah.
loved that.
Loved it. Oh yeah. I mean, well, the funny thing is I mean, I had to be like, you need to wear a bathing suit in the shower now. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And now I'll take a bath with her here and there and I wear a bathing suit because she's just getting too touchy feely. It's like they
Yeah,
want to
I
touch
think
all your
that
body parts and
yes,
like
and I think you have
they
to
have
gauge it
questions.
off of that. When that
Right.
starts to happen, I think that's when we'll nip it in the bud too. So
Right.
far, there's not a lot of that yet, but I
Yep.
think it's coming. I
It's
do.
looming for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's looming. I
yeah.
can tell with like the pee-pee stuff, but we want to take her to the ballet too. I'm sure when she sees these big pee-pees coming out in the tight, she's gonna start asking us more questions.
It is really
It
jarring to
is very
see
prominent.
on
I'm
stage. It is,
picturing it very clearly in
yes.
my head.
And
It
they're
is prominent.
leaping through the air and you're just like
See their pee-pees flying
yeah,
about.
it's just too much.
They're fluttering about.
Fluttering about. But anyway, And lastly, anything we want to talk about with 50 Cent? His career, he's of the highest of highs he's ever
I
been
don't have
on.
much to add, but I'm laughing the other day because, like, I'm on doing our control chaos stuff, and then our entire feed is 50 Cent right now. He is everywhere. I don't know if it's because we're talking about him, but like our entire feed is 50, 50, 50, 50. I'm
I
like,
think it's
what?
because everyone's talking about him and he's just playing into it. Did you know that he's on a rap tour right now, and it's his top selling and most highest grossing tour, surpassing 100 million in ticket sales, over 1 million tickets, making him one of the only few rappers with Drake to hit that milestone.
I'm here for it. Like, I like what's
Can you
happening
believe
with him.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for this renaissance. I am. I think
I know, me too.
he's doing the Lord's work. He's getting the,
He
it's like
is.
when,
And the other
what's
one too is Travis Scott. He is doing the Lord's work. I love that someone was like, "Can he do Trump next?"
I
That
saw
kills
that
me.
was hilarious. I saw that you posted that. That would be he should. Saw a documentary kick.
I think that's about it
We've covered an
for this
array of topics
episode.
from bad breath to swinging teepees. Right here, every
PPTPs.
it's the PPTPs that you didn't. Yes, bad B PPTPs. It's all happening on Controlled Chaos.
Oh, and one more thing that I read too was The Housemaid, right? That we've both read now, and we're
Oh
gonna go see the
yes.
movie soon. Have you read anything about the movie?
Was it the one in Vanity Fair? I read. There's one. I didn't read the whole review.
Neither. Yeah.
I read one.
What
I
did
bet
you
it's the
read?
same one. They didn't like it that much. They were like, it wasn't a very positive review. Did you read that
Did you
one?
read anything? And what I read was more that Amanda Seyfried's acting, she went into the character, which is great, and that Sydney Sweeney's
Sydney.
acting was very blah,
Yeah,
not didn't very vanilla.
I can almost, if I'm being totally frank, I've watched the trailer. I can almost Amanda looks like she is honed in, which and Sydney does not.
Yeah, but so now I'm wondering, because I don't love reading a book and then seeing the movie. I always find, like what we were talking
Oh,
about
I
before, is
do. I love
because I
it.
always don't like the movie. The movie's never that
I
good.
know. No, it's true. The book, it never holds
Uh,
up the same.
I've never seen a movie after reading a book and I'm like, the movie was so good. I don't know why. I've never.
Only
Maybe
time
I've
that's
read the
ever
book
happened. The
after.
only time that's ever happened to me is Devil Wears Prada, because that movie was
I read
phenomenal.
the book after.
And it wasn't even exactly the same as the book, but the movie was so good. You're right. Maybe it's
Right.
better to see the book.
I'm
I'm
telling
sorry,
you,
see the movie
yes,
first. No, that's
first.
interesting perspective.
Yep.
It is.
Because almost like when I was watching the trailer too, and any clips, the acting just, all of a sudden I can't even like enjoy the acting. I don't know what it is. I
Yeah,
already
and
know
you
what's
get a
happening.
very set picture in your
Right.
mind of what's supposed to be happening. And like even like I don't know if you go back to the book. So in the book, Amanda's character, she's gorgeous in this movie. She's supposed to be not very pretty anymore. She used to be pretty. I don't want to give anything
Right.
away, but like she used to be very pretty, but then she like gains weight. She lets herself go.
Right.
We find out reasons why later. But like I
Right.
noticed that that's not the case so far in the movie. The book can kind of skew you. You're right about that. It can skew you. But here's one thing about maybe Sydney Sweeney's performance being a little blah. Like in the book, her character is supposed to be like she's trying to keep this like kind of blah persona. They talk about that in the book, so maybe that's on purpose. I mean, like she's trying not, in the interview they talk about how she's trying not to look attractive. She's trying just to kind of walk this line because she wants to keep her job. So maybe she's the right character for that. In the book, she's constantly trying to make herself not look pretty because she doesn't want to.
Sure.
She doesn't want to
Yeah.
compete against the wife. They talk about that in the interview. She wears like these. These are fake glasses, by the way. I do this. She wears fake glasses, and she, just in case everyone's,
I
I
love
don't
it.
really wear. I'm
I
lying to
love
you.
it.
I'm lying to you. I don't wear glasses at all. These are totally fake. But and it's just interesting. In the book, she does that. She's trying to make herself look more homely because she is a very attractive girl. And so maybe she's the right character, and she's supposed to kind of be blasé. She's trying to not
Right.
ruffle any feathers. So maybe the performance we're seeing in the trailers and the blasé reviews
Is
she's
what it's
getting
supposed to be.
is intentional. Because that is how the
But
character in the book is.
but then maybe because we know her so well, it's
Yeah.
hard for us to put her like with Leonardo DiCaprio. It doesn't matter what role he plays, he always plays it perfectly. You
Oh,
get
I
lost
know.
in his character, right? You don't get lost in her characters, which was I think the same issue I had with watching the Christie trailer, was like her playing that famous lesbian boxer or whatever.
She's
It still
not.
feels like her.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it. She's just not as. I mean, comparing her to Leo is, I mean, one of the better actors of our time. She's not that good enough. She's not that good of an actress. I mean, not the kind you lose yourself in. And think about it, there's really not that many. That's a rare gift in actor. Some levels like Leonardo, and there's like Daniel Day-Lewis, those characters you're just like insane lose yourself. Then there's like
Right.
the mid grade.
Right.
Okay, I would even put her as like a mid-grade. Not yet. Like I
But
haven't
okay,
seen her
but look
enough.
at like Amanda Seyfried in when she did the Elizabeth Holmes show. The
Oh, I
Dropout
never
or
watched that, but I think she should be.
oh,
I've
you
heard
need to
it's.
watch that.
Yeah,
It
I read
is
the book.
phenom.
It's nuts.
She if it was anything like
Yeah.
the documentaries, she I totally got lost in her in that role.
She's
She
good. No,
played
I
it
think she's
so
a
well.
really, really good actress. I actually read a really interesting interview with her that she was like crushed when she didn't get Glinda. She really wanted that role. She was like,
Oh,
I think the yes, I think she was like the other big contender, which makes
oh,
sense. You know, she was in Mamma Mia. She's a musical person too.
wait, I had no
Uh,
idea that she was
yes, she
up
was
for it with
like, oh yeah.
Ariana.
And she said
Wow.
something the other day that she wanted that role so much. She was just like, I think she's a very good. I think she's a very good actress. You do lose yourself, and like even in Mean Girls, her character, she's a great example of what we're talking about. Where like maybe she's not one of the greats, but she's a good enough actress where like she's not Amanda Seyfried. She's who she's playing. Whereas Sydney Sweeney is kind of still Sydney Sweeney
Did you just
a
call her
little bit.
Amanda Seinfeld?
Is it Seifeld? Isn't it? I did
Seyfried?
not. Oh, Seyfried. Sorry.
Seyfried or Seyfried, actually. I don't really
I
know
don't
how
know.
to
Okay,
pronounce it, but it's
Seyfried. Well,
Jessica Seinfeld.
she's the character she plays, whereas Sydney kind of still is Sydney.
All right.
Amanda becomes the character. I'm not fully convinced, and you lose yourself in her character because she becomes the character.
I
I am
can't stop
very
thinking now
intrigued.
about Amanda playing, potentially having played
When I
Glinda. I
saw
think
that,
I
I
would
kept,
have,
I think she
yeah,
would
I
have been
think I would have,
great.
great.
She would have been great.
Why do you think they didn't, why do you think they inevitably went with
I
Ariana?
don't
Do you
know.
think it was
Maybe
a
they kept,
voice thing?
I don't know. I mean, but I will say Ariana, I wasn't
She did a
even
great
like,
job.
I wasn't
Yeah,
even
but
I was never kind of like, I was like ambivalent about her even before
yeah.
the movie. But she's pretty good in these movies and her chemistry with,
Oh, amazing.
I mean, they're,
I will say Ariana Grande is unbelievably talented.
the two of them together are like nothing
Yeah,
I've ever seen. Like, I mean,
I
maybe
know.
that's what it came down to. Maybe Amanda didn't have the
Maybe
same
table
because
reads, right?
they are unbelievable together. They are like one of the better on screen duos. I think her they make each other better, and that's why
Yeah.
the movie shines. But do I think Amanda would have been great in that role? Yeah, I do. I mean, depending on
Yeah.
her or with is it Cynthia? Cynthia, right?
Cynthia Rivas,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's
She's
what really.
unbelievable.
Oh yeah, she's incredible. But when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, I bet you were like a I mean, it totally fits her mold. She's musical, like
Totally. And
she
also the way she
looks like
looks.
yeah,
Yeah.
she looks
Hmm.
just like her. I mean, like she's kind of how I pictured Glinda. Like so, even more than Ariana.
Wow. I almost wish there could be two versions because it would
Isn't
be
it
really
interesting? I
interesting.
love reading
Yeah.
those things that when certain
Yeah.
actors was this would turn down
Might have
this
played,
role,
right.
it can change the entire thing. And like
But did
go
she turn it? She didn't turn it down though,
oh no,
right?
she didn't. No, no,
Okay.
no,
Oh,
she
yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
it.
Okay.
But I just like those interesting things where you're like, oh, so and so didn't take this, and he could have. I'm like, I wonder what that would have been like. No, she wanted it. She wanted it bad, and she read that. I read that she was really bummed she didn't get it.
Also, what a weird industry to be in as a human, as an actor. You feel like such a number when you're just replaced by someone, or it's like, I don't think I could ever deal with that sort of feedback. Sorry, you
Well,
didn't
I
make the cut.
mean,
You're not good enough, you know?
talk about being. You're literally critiqued all the time. I mean, the thick skin doesn't even begin to, it almost seems like that's not enough to say what you need to be in that world. I
Right.
mean, you are just constantly, I mean, your job is to be critiqued by directors, by producers, by everybody all day long. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. And it shows the people who really have that talent, how phenomenal they are. Actually, one battle after another comes out this Friday, and I'm finally going to watch it. I'm the gummy, and I'm going to watch it.
And in general, we should also get caught up on Oscar contenders.
The housemate, we're going to have to do a little
That's,
review on here.
oh, 100%. It'll be really fun.
Yes, and we'll have to
All
talk about.
right.
I don't think anyone in that movie has bad breath. I just want to say that. I'm gonna
Oh my God, their breath it's like roses and
minty,
vanilla and
evergreen, a little rose water, maybe
oh,
even. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
gosh,
Especially
just
what's his
make out
name,
with all of them.
smoking hot.
Brendan
What's his name?
Sklenar.
He
Oh,
is so good
and
looking.
also Michelle, what's his name? The one that plays the
Oh, Enzo.
Enzo, yeah, Enzo, Michelle. I
I don't
forgot
remember his name, but
Michelle.
I pictured him very hot in the book because they talk about how hot he is all the time.
Oh, side note, did you know that the reason he was cast in that movie is because Blake Lively told the director, Paul Feig, who directed A Simple Favor and Another Simple Favor, she told him that she should check out Michelle for that role. And also Brendan Sklenar.
Well,
So that's
he was in
right,
obviously.
right.
Yeah,
And
interesting. This is the
and
same
this
director
and
as A Simple Favor. I don't think I knew that.
yeah, and Another Simple Favor. And Enzo's character was in Another Simple Favor. And so she
Okay.
gave Paul both Paul keeps coming out in interviews because he's just had another Simple Favor. Now he's got this movie. So he's got a movie in the works. You know, he did Bridesmaids and all that. He comes out in favor of her quite often in interviews, talking about things she's done to help. Like, he's a big supporter and fan of hers.
Blake.
And so, yeah.
Well, I mean, she's done a lot of movies with him. So interesting.
I mean, just those two, which, you know, I didn't think either were that great, but the second one was not
Simple
good at
Favor.
all.
Yeah, I wasn't that into those.
I don't think she's done any others with him, but
That's
yeah.
true. I guess not. Well, then fuck her.
Yeah. And on that note,
thanks for joining, guys.
For us to sign off. We will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.